What's up, everybody? So back on the Turbo 2+2 car, I've pretty much got the Mega Squirt all wrapped up. Got a few things I've still got to do to it, but for the most part I've been driving the car around for about a month, enjoying it, and I want to make some changes. So the biggest thing I want to do is I want to change turbos on the car. Right now it's got a S366 turbo on it. It's fairly large. It's good for about 800 horsepower. But the car is just not responsive like I want it. Recently at work, I worked on a R33 GTST, and it had a built RB25 in it. Well, just built bottom end, rods and pistons, and had a GTX 3071 on it, and the car was awesome. It was super responsive, and it made me change my idea of how I want my car to be. So today I'm going to start pulling the turbo that's on the car off and swapping over to actually turbo that used to be on the car years ago, and for some reason I want to change turbos in, and surprisingly now I want to go back. I want the car to be very responsive and want to start doing like track days and stuff like that with it. So today we're going to start taking the old turbo off and putting the new one on and making a couple other changes with the car. So since the last time I showed much on the car, I've made a couple of small changes to it. I added idle control and got everything plumbed back into the car. So I've got the idle control motor here that's like for a Ford Mustang, and then I tapped it for Dash 8 ORB fitting, and then just ran a line over to the intercooler piping. So that's one of the big changes I did, and the car runs pretty well. I'm happy with it. And then on the inside of the car, I haven't really cleaned it up much, but I got my boost control knob and then the anti-lag button. So I got all that working, and I'll show you how to set this feature up probably in another video whenever I put the car on the dyno. But it's really cool. Right now the setting is pretty much a little over wastegate, and then of course as you turn it up, it increases boost. Pretty fun feature. I like it a lot instead of having to mess with another electronic boost controller. Everything's controlled by the computer, and it's very consistent. Well, just had an odd change of events. The power's out, and can't really do much here in the garage. Not really enough lighting to work and be able to see exactly what I'm doing. So I guess I'm going to go out here to the Gray Turbo Z and mess with it. I haven't touched this thing since really the last video that I put up of it. So I'm going to go out here and see if I can get it to run. For some reason it's not starting again. I'm guessing it's probably the injector is clogged just because I didn't get to run it much. So I'm going to see if we can get this thing started up today and mess with it a little bit. Alright, so out here at the Gray Turbo Z, I just went through and tested all the injectors, made sure they're firing, and used my quick little injector trick just to make sure they were working. So I guess now it's time to see if this thing will fire up. Alright, let's give this thing a shot, see what it does. Oh, it's been a bit. Might take a couple tries. Here we go. Well. Alright, let's try this again. I sprayed a little starter fluid in it. Alright. sweet. This thing is probably not run in like 3 or 4 months. So it's definitely good to hear this thing run. I'm ready to get back on this project. Be fun to kind of turn this into a daily driver. But we'll see where this thing takes me. So I think the next thing I'll probably do on this is probably take this overpressure valve off. So whenever you go over like 7-8 pounds of boost, it'll open up to keep you from over boosting. So I'm going to take that off and maybe do a couple deletes, but not too much. And just like that, power's back on. Well, I guess I will get back to this project and get this turbo pulled out, and I will show you the new turbo, or my old turbo that's going to go back into this car right now. So here's the turbo that's going to go back in. This is a CX Racing turbo I've had for maybe 6-7 years. I've had it in this car, of course, and then I had it in my GS 300. It was probably around 400 horsepower. And it's a, like I said, a CX Racing unit. It's got a billet wheel. It's a 82 AR. I'm going to end up adding a V-band to the back of the turbo. But we'll go ahead and get this thing out. And we'll put this one next to the old turbo that's in the car right now. Alright, we got the two turbos side by side. You can definitely tell a big size difference. The BorgWarner is just massive compared to the Garrett turbo or Garrett clone. So it's probably going to be interesting getting this to fit. But both of them have 4-inch inlets, 2.5-inch outlets, and then on the back side, the BorgWarner has their proprietary like Mormon flange, I believe it's called, and then the Garrett's got this 4-bolt. So I'm going to cut these ears off and probably weld a 3.5-inch V-band on it, and then put the new V-band on the downpipe. And then of course the BorgWarner is a T4 flange and the Garrett is a T3. But luckily I'm kind of weird and I went ahead and put a dual drilled flange on the car. So luckily I don't have to change the whole setup completely. I can bolt it up and kind of see how everything fits right now, and then see what I'll have to change. Alright, well, got the new turbo bolted up. Things are a little off from how it was with the BorgWarner, and this thing looks tiny. So that's how everything lines up as is, with the downpipe not even changed. So I think what I'm going to have to do is get a T3 flange that has not got any threads in it and bolt it up so I can space this out and move the turbo over, you know, flange width, and then just make adjustments to the downpipe and everything. But I kind of expected things to be misaligned. Probably have to change my coupler for my intake, or my charge pipes, I should say. So there's a little bit of work to do, but I think I'm going to be happy with this in the long run. Alright, well, I put a piece of aluminum in here, almost the thickness of a flange, just to get an idea. And things are lined up pretty close. So by the time I get the proper thickness flange and a gasket on either side, I think I'll be okay. The downpipe, of course, will need a little reworking, but I can manage that. That's no big deal. And then I'll probably have to change out the coupler that goes here for something a little longer. But so far, this seems like it won't be too bad. Well, that brings us to a screeching halt on this project. Gonna have to get a T3 flange to use as a spacer, just to line the turbo up a little bit better. Thought I had one laying around the garage, but I don't. But yeah, definitely bummed about this. Was ready to get it on the car and at least drive it real quick before I start my next project with the car, before it goes to the dyno. But you'll have to wait till next time to figure out what that is. But remember to like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content, and have a good night.